I'm Tabitha Rock.
And I'm Sam Davenport.
Born and bred in Melbourne, we live and breathe property, and we know the Melbourne market like the back of our hand. We've both been buying and selling real estate in Metro Melbourne for over 2 decades combined, and we've learned a few lessons along the way.
We are here on the Prop Culture Podcast with our first guest,
You,
Steve Rose Architects.
we are excited. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
I just feel really privileged to have you here. I feel like, we're one of the lucky few because I know you don't do a lot of press.
We want your wisdom. Our people want your wisdom, and we know you've got a lot of it. You've been, how long? Steve Rose Architect has been around for
12 years?
Yeah, 12 years. But how long have you been, but prior to that, I'm assuming some sort of study. You've been in the architecture game for a long time?
Yeah, started out in well before 2000. Started out studying and then just got into it.
Yeah, you've got some wisdom to impart on the people then. Jeez.
Yeah.
Just a casual 24 years in the industry.
And if
Probably
you
a bit
are
more.
if you are on our newsletter little hit list, you will be receiving the fortnightly floor plan comments and critiques and updates and amendments, and that is the lovely man here, Steve. And I just find it so interesting and useful, that floor plan series that we're doing with you, because I think a lot of people, get overwhelmed by it or just think, oh, I don't like the flow of this. No, walk away from the property, which actually you can do a few slight tweaks to a floor plan to just encourage the flow or just make it more livable, indoor, outdoor connectivity that we bang on about.
I think they're a really fun thing to do. They're so simple and easy. There's a lot of people don't see those really basic ideas. They walk away, but they are really basic, and some of them are so easy to do that you could almost do them in your sleep.
Because a lot of the ones that we've been doing so far are in the existing footprint of the home, which, I would imagine lessen a lot of A, the cost, but B, like time in council, problems getting things through council.
Yep. Yeah, we're trying to short circuit that and get away from it and make it really, really easy for them. A lot of these houses were designed at a time, in a different time where they didn't really care about sunlight. They didn't care about, noise and trees and outdoor spaces.
Yeah.
Things have changed. Times have changed. So plans should change with them.
And they were back then, they were so much more concerned about keeping the room warm.
Yeah.
So it was the smaller the window, the warmer the room. The more doors, the warmer the living space.
Or having a bathroom out at the back, almost like an outhouse.
Yeah.
Or having it at the back of the building that are looking out at the gardens. What a weird thing to do.
I know, the old dunny.
There was some weird design choices back then, but I'm seeing some real bloody weird design choices now. Not by you, Steve, but out there in the marketplace. I'm walking through some houses being this needs to be redone, and we're going to be looking back on this in 10 years' time thinking, what the?
Yep. I think it'll be happening. You see a lot of walls right now where you get those fake bricks.
Oh,
you see those a lot.
Yeah.
That's going to be happening again.
Why?
There's not a lot of real timber out there. There's a lot of fake timber going on.
Yeah.
Terrible choices.
and fake bricks. It sounds like.
Well, that's the one that's still carrying over.
What
from
about
the 70s.
Glass bricks? I feel like they're going to have a resurgence, and I'm ready for it.
Have you seen the Cartier building in Amsterdam?
No.
They took it to another level.
Okay,
so they made
post-production,
them,
put that in our little video.
They made them cool again.
Okay.
They made them cool again. Well, there you go.
So are you popping them in your designs these days?
No, they're super, super expensive. If
Are
Cartier
they?
are doing them, then yeah.
But is it an alternative to obviously frosted glass?
Yeah.
In
Totally
terms
obscure.
of,
You can't
obscuring.
see through it.
Yeah.
This was a big design choice. It was they basically replaced the whole building with glass bricks.
Wow.
Brick by brick.
Wow. Like the standard ones. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. I
pretty
need
wild.
to see it.
Yeah. That's interesting, though, how you commented that they're really expensive. I think that's one thing that people don't understand when they work with or come to someone like you. How much can you sort of factor in cost and understand, okay, well, you're showing me this Pinterest picture, but if you go with that, that's high end. Do you need to consult the builder to understand a lot of those costs, or because you've just been time in the game, you sort of know, that's low end, medium. Do you know what? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, there's this really strange thing where people want something and they want to pay something, and our job is trying to get those two together, And if somebody wants all these things, they can't have it for a certain price. They need to sort of find that balance, and we weave a sort of an angle between all of that. And if they want all those things, then we'll just tell them this is what it's going to cost. Or if this is how much they want to spend, then we'll say this is what you can have.
Yeah, this is a good
So
alternative.
it's weaving a sort of magical line between those things.
God, it sounds like exactly what we do.
I
with
know.
some
It's just that
clients.
whole element of like consultancy, isn't it? So it's like they come to you. At what stage in their process do they usually come and sit with you? Is it just when they have a concept, an idea, a thought process, or is it once they've already really spoken with a builder?
I would really like them to come to me before they buy a house to help them with that.
Nice.
It really does help because you can sort of start to weed out a lot of projects that just aren't even going to suit them right from the beginning.
Yeah.
And to try and keep as much of the existing building as possible, if it's possible. Sometimes it's not, so it's a complete bowl over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you prefer working on? Like trying to work within existing structures and maybe like rebuild old homes, or do you love a new build?
We love anything.
Yeah.
We'll do anything, but working on an existing building, and from an environmental point of view, it's always going to be better. Keeping as much structure as possible. Like, why throw that? Like, because builders they don't want to do that. They'd rather just start from scratch. It's path of least resistance for them.
Yeah.
So they find it a lot easier just to bowl something right over. But you're throwing that all in the tip.
I was going to say, I don't reckon people register it goes into landfill.
Well, but then again, I was having a discussion with a past client who we bought an old period home, and then he wanted to sort of weave a lot of passive design and is that the right? Yeah, where you sort of work with the elements and the sun and wear that to sort of heat your house and cool your house and it was actually
difficult.
So difficult and so expensive
Yeah.
and became just not viable.
Yeah.
So I understand like the fine balance of, okay, yes, we're demolishing that house, it goes into landfill, but then we're working with a really inefficient house and therefore we've got to heat it more and, okay, what does the next 50 years of that house?
There is a point where it becomes too untenable, where it becomes too hard, where those sorts of elements can't be incorporated. So, yeah, there is there's a fine balance of finding the right sort of spot, the sweet spot.
Yeah. And that, though, would be easier in a new build, obviously, versus in the renovation of the existing home.
Yeah, it's always going to be easier. But again, it's that idea of path of least resistance. Like if it's easier for a builder will go for it. But if you sort of push them a little bit and there is an opportunity to use as much as possible, it's great. It's a great thing. And there's also some beautiful houses out there.
Oh, stunners.
We love the period homes. That's what makes our heart melt.
Yeah. I love a period house with a modern renovation to the rear, something so you get a bit of both worlds.
100%. And realistically, you need that. Like in current living, I mean, I've been looking for a client in Glen Iris recently for like a big classic family home on the full-size block, unrenovated. They'll do a renovation. And majority of them have a central kitchen. Like where the hallway should be is a kitchen.
Or a
And
bathroom.
you're like, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Where am I?
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when like someone like that, I mean, I know she's using an architect. She sort of renovated her previous
Cheating
home.
on you, Steve.
No, it's so she's only just bought it. She hasn't engaged anyone yet.
Right. Okay.
She hasn't engaged anyone yet. But I know she will use an architect. I know she knows she'll use an architect. But how would someone know whether or not they should be engaging an architect versus someone like a draftsperson?
Or just going straight to a builder? Because I think a lot of people
going straight to a builder.
do that.
Some people will go straight to a builder. Some of my favourite builders will then consult me.
Yeah.
And they'll say, you need an architect. You need an architect to come up with some ideas.
Yeah.
Look, I think everybody should use an architect.
Yeah.
But they aren't for everybody. Like some people see us as a bit of a luxury or a niche sort of thing, but we're not. Like we can add value. We know how to design things. We know how to design things within existing footprints. We know how to design new things within planning guidelines. We know how to work with builders. Draftsmen, I'm not going to sort of speak disparagingly about them, but they'll give you what you want. And a lot of clients don't know what they want. Like they might say, I want this room, I want that room.
Yeah.
But maybe they don't actually need that room in that room. Maybe they don't need them there. But the draftsman will just give you exactly what you want.
Exactly what you say, yeah.
Exactly what you say. They won't put a lot of that thought into it. which is what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I saw that in a house, that exact thing to a T. A house in Preston that engaged just a drafts person, not just, like some are really good and have like a place, but they were so annoyed with themselves for only engaging a drafts person because they thought they knew what they wanted.
Yeah.
And then when it came to light, it actually didn't work because it was a south-facing block, so they should have done a lot more windows on this side.
Yeah.
And these bifold doors actually didn't go up to the height of the ceiling, and so it felt kind of it really lowered the ceiling height. And it was there that I really saw the difference between architectural design and people just thinking they know what they want. And
Architects are trained to design, like they're trained to design within parameters. I like to call architecture problem solving with bricks and mortar. It's about problem solving, on the site with the builder, with the sun, with the land, with the council. It's all of those things. There's a lot to it. Whereas drafting, and I actually did a drafting diploma, so I understand the difference between the two. So there's a lot more to architecture.
Yeah. So is drafting, do they need a diploma? What do they need?
Yeah, it's a diploma. It's a 2-year diploma.
2-year diploma.
You basically learn how to draw.
Right. So it's sort of like a nurse versus like a cosmetic injector.
I don't know. Some people really know that analogy, and others won't get it at all, like you and I. But
They all call
Sam
themselves
loves
doctors.
an analogy, so I'm always letting her have the space for it.
I'm
But
just trying to like, I think that's right.
yeah,
They still need a diploma to inject your face with something.
You need to be accredited.
But nurses,
Draftspeople are accredited.
Yes.
They're not registered as architects. Like to be an architect, you need to be registered.
Yeah, well, isn't it 4 years?
6-year degree,
6-year
five
degree.
or 6-year
Wow.
degree,
Exactly. So
and
you're a
then
doctor.
2 to 3 years of practical experience before you can get registered.
You're a doctor of the home.
Oh, that's another
It's a good
zinger.
analogy.
Another zinger. Put that on your
6-year
website.
six-year
See, we
bloody
won't even
degree.
charge you for
God,
that
who's
one.
got the patience?
No, I definitely don't. But okay, so you just mentioned then that sometimes, the client will go directly to the builder, then the builder will sort of
I've had loads of projects.
Yeah, revert back to you. But, how does it work when the client does actually come to you first? They've done the right thing, and then from there, do you tender out to builders? You have one builder you prefer? How does that sort of process work?
I'm pretty flexible. Like I've got a stable of builders that I like to use that I've worked with a number of times that are like they understand how to work and like they understand my work. They work really well. Then we've got I've got clients who bring their own builders along. So I'm not going to say I'm not going to use them. I'm happy to use new builders. So it's a bit of a both sort of.
Yeah, it's a flexible sort of outcome from that perspective.
Yeah.
Like you're not saying to them, I only work with these. Yeah.
No.
But if they came to you and you did really beautiful drawings for them and then they said, this is the builder I'm going to use because he was like 30% cheaper, would you sort of give your thoughts on that to them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell them what I think. And we'll also vet them. I'll go and sort of look through their work and go look at some past work of theirs and see if it's up to scratch.
In real life? Like do drive-bys? Yeah, I think that's such a good...
Not drive-bys, try and get inside them.
Yeah.
Well...
Because you can,
That's such a good point to take away. Like if you're wanting to engage someone, go check out their past work. Like
Absolutely.
I say that with people that are really considering buying off the plan apartments, which we don't agree with. But if a builder has been selected or an architect, like go past their past projects and see how do they fare after 10, 15 years.
Not going off topic, but why do you say don't buy off the plan?
For multiple reasons. I think that they're just not building apartments very well at the moment, and there's just so many variables between signing that contract and then completion. Often when people are signing contracts, they haven't engaged a builder, so then
and they've got a lot of flexibility too.
They can change things. Appliances.
They can change.
They can make your 3-bedroom into a 2-bedroom.
Exactly. I was just going to say they can change the size, which is like
and they can do it legally. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's written into the contract.
It's really strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's written into the contract. So as a buyer, if you were to really read the contract and understand the risks that are involved, it's natural that you would decide against it. It does suit certain people, and there's obviously certain developers and certain companies that are really highly reputable and they're building the right type of property for a certain type of person.
But
a lot of downsides,
but
but not everyone's going to know that. Yeah, so the risk, it's just about the risk management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right, we did get off topic. But so what are generally the size of projects? So say, okay, because we have clients doing just the bathroom reno to really planning on ripping down the back half of the house. You know, if someone wants to do a 30 grand bathroom reno, that's not the person that should seek out an architect. It's like when I'm redesigning the floor plan, is that when that triggers someone to think, oh, I need to seek out an architect? Is it I'm spending 250 grand?
Yeah.
Okay, that's architect money.
A bathroom fit out would be great for a brand new architect who's just fresh out of uni. That would be a really good little sort of a starting project, really easy for them. There's probably not an economy of scale in that sort of work for us. We'll do anything anything from minimum to 200 grand onwards. But saying that, there are really small projects out there that are unique, like little pavilions and things like that are less than that. Like if there's some joy in it, and there's a client who's really after something amazing, then why not? But yeah, like there's an economy of scale, so there is a sort of bottom limit.
Yeah. Just a random question, because I'm going back to thinking about my childhood, and we were going to put a townhouse on the rear of my family property. We didn't end up going ahead with it, but the architect was getting so creative with the design. Like there was this box that was pushed like a metre out of one side of the – it looked really cool.
Fun.
But
sounds fun.
Sounds
fun.
really fun.
And you remember it. You remember it to this day.
I do. And I was probably only sort of 18 when they were
that's
thinking.
memorable.
Yeah. But I always see some designs of homes, and we mentioned this from the start, and think, okay, yeah, cool, but I'll see you in sort of 5 years, and then how will that design be received? And so, yeah, is there a fine line between getting too out there and creative in your design, but then also building something memorable and making something,
You need to have a client who's like, you got to have a client that's on board for something like that. Like that's the first step. You don't just go and propose something like that to a really conservative client and expect them to go, yeah, let's do it. They'll be bored of it after a couple of months, and then after a couple of years they'll want to move out of it. So you've got to pick your moment. Look, there are some sort of weird things that people have done. Like there's loads of terrible sort of decisions, but I don't think we don't focus on them.
Does the architect take into consideration the longevity of the appeal of the design?
You want your building to outlast you.
Yeah.
You want it to be a memorable piece that comes back and decades later and people are still looking at it going, that's great. That was a great decision. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure a lot of clients would come to you specifically saying, I want you to take creative license, or in that first meeting, it's very obvious that they're super conservative and that you will not be taking any creative license here,
I'll often do two designs. I'll do one that's that's pretty a little bit sort of out there, and to try and push it and see how far they want to go, and then I'll do one that maybe not, I wouldn't say conservative, but just I'll pull it back a little bit, and let them make the choice. Let them have a crack at it.
Yeah.
See if they're willing.
Yeah, love that.
But I wouldn't do anything that's just going to, it's going to be annoying after 5 years later.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, have you had any disgruntled clients come back to you? You've had 12 years in this business.
No, I haven't.
That's good. And I guess we mentioned about passive house design earlier. Are you getting a lot of people being really concerned about or like interested in sustainable building, sustainable design? Like
5, 10, 15 years ago, that it was more of a choice. It was something that you could elect to do, and you had to if you wanted to do that sort of work, you had to find clients that were into it. It's legislation now. It's like there's no getting around it. You even if you didn't want to do all that sort of work, the legislation will say that you have to have this sort of insulation in your building, this sort of double glazing. Yeah, it's not really an option. There are still choices you can make, like solar panels and things like that. Batteries and solar batteries, blah blah blah. But that's it's not really that's just really a dollar choice. People if they've got the money, they'll go for it.
Yeah, because it's interesting because in Australia we do see a lot of houses that have got like basically sheets of paper as panes of glass for their windows, that were built at any point in time since, 1960s. Yeah, all of them, really.
Until 5 years ago, maybe.
Until 5 years ago, yeah. So this is the big sort of difference that's happening at the moment now, I reckon, is that, you look at these older properties and yes, they hold more value because they've got that period character, et cetera, et cetera. But particularly if you're looking in that upper end of the market where you're buying a very long-term family home, generally speaking, you do want something that has been done in the last 5 years that has towed that line rather than something that was done 9 or 10 years ago that hasn't.
But that is a good example. Like if it's got single glazing, you can counter that with a whole bunch of other things. Like you can go and pack your ceiling with insulation. You can pack your floor with insulation, which will counter the single glazing. Yeah. So there's all sorts of little moves you can make. To keep those sort of old buildings in there.
Yeah, but buying something that was more recently renovated versus buying something that was renovated 8 or 9 years ago that didn't take into consideration all those little 1%ers that they have done if they did it in the last few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that modern design will work on is passive solar sort of design, whereas its orientation, like that those sorts of basic simple principles will go a really big long way in keeping a house warm, like getting the sun in the right spot, getting light in, not having like dark corners and things like that.
Yeah.
So just sort of simple design choices will help you.
If the sun is hitting your window, it's essentially like a wall heater.
Yeah.
But you don't want it hitting too much of your window in summer.
Not in summer, only in winter.
Yeah.
So then maybe external awnings and eaves, Yeah,
a lot of houses today are built like, a lot of those sort of project homes, they don't have eaves.
No, they're square set, everything,
I remember these gorgeous clients in Bowen downsizing and they were obsessed with the size, like the depth of eaves and really fixated on it. And I didn't really get it until I did. And I was like,
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, well, it protects the whole building.
You focus on?
No, maybe it's not something to focus on.
No, it's not a make or break, but it is this one has wider eaves. That's nice.
Yeah.
Or just eaves at all. Like it obviously protects the building from water as well.
It's like a hat without a rim.
It's like a hat.
Without a rim.
So a beanie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
now every time people look at properties with no eaves, they're going to be like,
beanie.
It's got a beanie on.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious.
That is so funny. Yeah, we want a wide brimmed hat in Australia.
Oh, maybe with some corks hanging down.
There's calculations. There's like full-on calculations you have to make to get the exact right amount of sun into a house, and not too much sun at a certain time, and just the right amount of sun at another time. Like there's a bit of thinking and a bit of calculation go into it. It's important.
That's one of the drawings that you provide, isn't it? Is what do you call it? The shadow
diagram.
Shadow diagram. Boom.
There we are.
And I used a drafts person.
But I'm considering doing a development and I'm planning on using a drafts person, but I just know what I want. But then that face, and also with consultation with Steve recently, maybe not the best idea, but we'll see.
We'll see what you get.
Yeah.
We'll see what you get.
We'll see.
Best of luck to you.
Yeah.
You get like a little window at ankle height. You're like, damn, I thought I put that
He sounds
there.
exactly like how I sound when people are like, I'm going to go to
Buy
auction
for
this
myself.
weekend. Yeah, on this property.
What do you say to them?
We
Malvern
say
Road.
good luck to you, best of luck to you. Let us know how you go, and then that they're going to come and see me after when you miss out.
Yeah. Or
Yeah, I mean, doing a actual house, building a new house from ground up, I would use an architect.
Yeah.
I just did a box in the back of my house, and I spent 3 years drawing and redrawing and redrawing and redrawing. But the drafts person, when he asked me for the height of the highlight window, I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
What's a highlight window?
What's a highlight window? Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
would just be, I think that, and this is what we say to people, like it's also an awesome process to go through working with someone like yourself. Like you'll learn so much through the.
Other than buying a business, a house, it's the biggest thing you'll ever do.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a pretty big undertaking.
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
Yeah. And you can have incredible design, but if it's not executed well, or if it's poorly designed but executed well,
it's still
it's
fundamentally
all going to affect the value of the property, which then, as you say, it's the biggest investment you'll make. So
It's also a relationship. It's a big relationship sort of move. Working with an architect, you've got to have a good rapport.
Yeah.
You've got to get along with each other. You know.
I do definitely say to clients if they're planning on, engaging an architect, I say, okay, just make sure they don't get too sort of creative. Just go to realestate.com. This is my hot tip takeaway for this app. Is go to realestate.com, look what's selling for really strong results in your area, and sort of, if you can, take some of that design inspiration, floor plan inspiration. If it's selling well in your area, that's...
You're talking about resale value.
Yes. Yeah.
Resale value is an interesting topic.
do you take that? Do you think about that much, or?
If we're working with a client and we're trying to make the house perfect for them, that's what we're trying to create bespoke work that suits that client. If you start sort of thinking, okay, how's this going to resell? Like the first question is is a bath going to be a resale item?
Yeah.
Do you like baths?
Yes.
Yes, I love baths.
yeah.
But you can always go and put a bath in.
No,
If
yes, it is a resale. Good idea for resale.
yeah, but
If
like
it's a
is
family
resale?
home.
Yeah,
Not in a
but
one-bedroom apartment.
What if you got a couple that are interested in baths? Like, and it's taking up 2 square meters of bathroom.
Yeah. 2 square meters. I love that you know that. Just boom, 2 square meters of
And
bathroom.
they're not using it. Then what's the point? And you can always go and put
Exactly.
one in later on.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of forward thinking.
Yeah. Well, we're coming to the end of our chat.
I think before just our final little segment that we love, I want to know, what's one design thing that you're loving at the moment that you're seeing out in the marketplace? Like, it can be the little square glass bricks.
Glass bricks.
That was
I'm
tough for me.
loving the small homes that people are doing,
Yeah.
like little country homes. I think they're just really lovely. I think they're lovely. They're like a great way to do a small thing, smart. Take in the right elements. Getting in the right sunlight, getting the right views in. I find them really amazing.
Have you done a little Airbnb stay?
I have, yeah, and I love it. It's my own.
Oh,
you
is
built
it?
one?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm loving that.
Yeah.
But it's about doing a lot with a small amount, and that can then sort of transfer onto bigger projects. Just doing small things, doing small little maneuvers that have a big effect.
Big impact,
I think that's my favourite thing.
Yeah. I love that for you.
I love that. I want
come.
to see.
Yeah.
Invite us.
Just at least send me a walkthrough video.
Yeah, true.
That's all I need. Just
Even
to
just a
really
picture.
satisfy, And then I just keep running the rat race in the city.
No, not forever. Not forever. Okay, take it away, girl.
F, marry, kill. I put this one together really
What's
thinking
this?
F, marry, kill.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
you've listened.
I've
I know
heard it.
you've listened to all our podcasts, Steve.
Yeah.
So you're very
Yeah,
across
yeah.
this segment.
So the concept is, what would you marry? What would you marry?
Yeah,
What would you kill off? And what would you keep as a side piece to just
Yeah,
tap in and
and
out
that's the
when
F1.
you want them around, but they're not your main squeeze.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the F. Now, I put this one together really thinking about you.
Yeah.
So your 3 options are freestanding inner city Victorian and a traditional client brief. Huge warehouse conversion, unlimited budget, but overbearing creative controlling client.
Wow.
Or country manor, free reign on design.
See, when I saw these, I was like, God, what were you doing? Were you having a wine when you put these together?
I wasn't. It was like 9 a.m. and I'm like,
She was so
Okay.
excited.
I think because I also get very excited about the prospect of just building anything. And so this, country manor, free reign on design choices, but budget too tight for a trophy home.
Ooh, that puts a little spanner in it, doesn't it?
Do you need to hear them again?
It went from being marrying to F, yeah. Okay.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you need to hear them again?
What was the first one?
Freestanding inner city Victorian and traditional client brief.
Don't give away what you're wanting him to say by the look on
I'm
your face.
influencing him.
Yeah.
Okay. So the manor would be F
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
because it sounds like a pain in the ass of a client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Budget
no,
too
you've
tight.
got the manor is free reign on design choices, but budget's a bit tight for a trophy home.
Yeah.
The huge warehouse conversion, unlimited budget, but overbearing creative controlling client.
Yeah, yeah. leave that one.
Yeah,
So
so
kill
killing.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to.
And so
The
that's
Victorians, the marry.
Yeah. Okay. The bread and butter.
Because it
The
sounds
bread
like
and
it sounds
yeah.
like it'd be the nicest client to work with. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
the relationship.
Relationship.
Absolutely.
Who
We
wants
don't have
to
time.
work with an
We've
asshole?
said no to
Life's too
business
short.
because it's like
Yeah, life's
Life's
too
too short to deal with
Yeah.
assholes.
And my peace is too precious.
Yeah.
Like, I need to look after myself.
my piece is too precious.
Yeah.
Another zinger
Life
for
is too
you.
short for these sorts of things, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
we've loved having you on.
I've loved it. You
Thanks for having
brightened
me.
up our day.
It really did. And we hope this conversation has put a pep in your step and you won't be scared to return because we've got plenty more questions.
Love to come back.
Steve Rose Architects.
You.
What a legend. Thank you.
Until
Thank
next
you.
time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.